engine on the right.
Yep. Destroyed.
Good thing I
that's a lovely thing about the Firefly. You can fucking one-shot a tiger. Not the slogging fucking threats.
that was just in there.
You guys have visual tiger, right?
Sorry?
No, we don't.
There is down the road. Down this road, there's a tiger.
No, there's not. We'll push him. Gotta get ready with armor piercing.
But,
There's a puma. I think he made a miscalculation there. He's probably able to get behind.
Yeah, definitely a
That's
mistake.
unfortunate.
Definitely a fucking mistake. What the fuck is he doing?
Oh, he's coming. I just joined your section.
Sherman, can you give me some cover? Oh fuck.
It's fine, mate.
God. I'm gonna go tiger hunt now. Or is he dead?
He's dead.
Oh fuck you, man! I only got the command card. What am I gonna do now? Fuck hell, man.
Let's repair the truck and let's go
Stop
back
being
and
good at what
repair.
you're doing, please.
Dude, I really fucked up on that tiger. I missed like half my shots. Jesus.
Rest in
Hey there. This guide will outline key strategies for the Armoured section in Scriptum. After my own experiences, looking at historical handbooks and testing on my offline server, I've come up with methods to hit your target on the first shot, and if you miss, how to continuously hit your target and eventually destroy it. I've only seen a few Armoured Scriptum tutorials. Many of them only cover the basic controls and information. Today I will go over how to range each sight for the tank, how to effectively engage tanks and kill them in just a few shots, and general tactics to ensure your tanks don't get destroyed. And finally, basic battle drills for your tank crew to practice. First, let's go over how to destroy tanks effectively. Attached to your tank is two health systems. I call them hull damage and component damage. Hull damage cannot interact with component damage, and your tank is destroyed when your hull damage reaches 0. You can briefly see your hull damage when you go back to the repair station and you see the symbol's colour. Component damage can interact with hull damage. There are many different types of components in your tank, mainly being the turret ring, engine, tracks, and ammo racks. There is also crew. However, unless your tank is open top or you're unbuttoned, it is very difficult to kill crew. You can see your component damage with little icons in the lower right. If they turn yellow, they are damaged, and red if destroyed. The turret ring is a set of gears allowing your turret to rotate 360 degrees. Having your turret ring damaged means the rotation of your turret in both axes is lowered. If damaged, the turret rotation will slightly slow down. If destroyed, it will heavily slow down and you will effectively be a Jagdpanzer. The engine and tracks is what keep your tank moving. If they are damaged, you might not be able to move at all. This isn't that big of a deal in a long range engagement. However, if you're in a light tank trying to outflank your enemy, or a fixed turreted tank, like the Jagdpanzer, Stug, etc., it essentially spells the end for your tank. If the tracks are damaged, you will slow down slightly and may notice a slight drag in the direction of a damaged track. If destroyed, you can rotate with the other track, but you cannot move forwards or backwards. The engine, on the other hand, if damaged, you will slow down heavily, and if destroyed, you won't be able to move at all. The ammo rack is the target point of all gunners. It is what allows one-shot kills with what seemingly wouldn't cause that much damage. For example, it is possible to destroy a Tiger 1 with an M1 AT rifle grenade with one shot if you aim carefully and have some luck on your side. Ammo racks, if damaged, will also damage your tank. If destroyed, they will destroy your tank. The only way to destroy a tank is to get its whole HP to 0. There are many methods to do so. The most quick and effective is to ammo rack the vehicle. Destroying the ammo rack component causes the tank to blow up. However, there is other methods. Say if you have a weak gun or you don't have VOD ammo rack, you might maneuver behind the vehicle, destroy its engine so the smoke from the destroyed engine blinds it from you, and you can load shot after shot without any risk to yourself. Also, there is 3 types of hits. Penetration, the shell hits a target and penetrates it, seen by the orange ring around the shell hole. Non-penetration, the shell hits the target and explodes. However, there is no orange ring around the shell hole. It can also be heard by the shell bouncing off. And a bounce. The shell hits the target but bounces off the armor due to a high angle of attack. Only penetration deals hull damage and component damage. If you cannot find the ammo rack after 2 or 3 shots, I would advise trying to find other components at the engine to damage, to stop them getting away. Also, to visualize the penetration, I would draw a line from your gun to their tank. Once it hits a tank, draw a line 1 meter deep into their tank. Every component within that line should be damaged or destroyed. This is of course if it doesn't bounce or doesn't penetrate. A general rule of thumb for gunners aiming for the ammo rack is to get your shell on the symbol. What I mean by that is the ammo rack for the Germans is directly behind the Wehrmacht insignia, and the ammo rack located on the Shermans is also directly behind the star symbol. For the British tanks, it's better to just aim centre mass. Finally, shell types. There are 3 shells that we'll find useful while engaging tanks, which are standard armor-piercing shells, which includes APC-BC, armor-piercing capped, ballistic capped, APC, armor-piercing capped, APBC, armor-piercing ballistic capped, then APCR and white phosphorus, which I'll come to later. When travelling, or if there's any threat of a tank, you should have the armor-piercing shells in your chamber. Armor-piercing shells are the best for taking out tanks in all cases, when it can penetrate. They should be used as a general AP shell for every vehicle. Also, a little side note, even though you might think you can use high explosive on trucks and cars, use armor-piercing, as it will destroy the vehicle every time you hit it. High explosive might not have an effect, or it will only kill the people in the vehicle and not the whole vehicle. Only when you have spotted a heavily armoured tank, which you cannot penetrate with your main gun, should you load APCR, Armour Piercing Composite Rigid. APCR, although it has a higher penetration value, deals less hull damage, and only should be used when you cannot penetrate. White phosphorus should be used as a counter-ambush technique. If you are ambushed, fire it into the face of the enemy to blind them. This will allow you to escape and possibly flank and destroy the enemy. Accurately ranging things comes down to skill. There's only so much training can do. However, to get the best estimate, If you have the chance, get the commander, driver and gunner to look bare-eyed or through the periscope at the target without any zoom, and find a rough estimate of all 3 guess ranges, but there is some tricks to help you out in game. If you are within 500 meters of the target, you can use your section commander to place down a marker on the tank and find the range using the map. You can also find landmarks like forests, roads and buildings and use the map to find the range if it's beyond 500 meters. You may be wondering what you can do with these ranges. Well, on the German tanks and the British Firefly, you can actually adjust the range of the gun by using your default range adjustment for your rifle. You can adjust down and up to accurately find the range in the scope, and when fired, it will hit the target dead on if aimed properly. In my testing, the only accurate tank sights are the ones you can range, thus it is the only one we'll be talking about today. Firstly, the Firefly. The Firefly has no special properties in terms of the ammunition. However, when zoomed in, the sight is inaccurate in terms of range, so make sure you range your sight when it's non-zoomed in, then zoom in once ranged. And you have to aim at the tracks to hit the tank at the centre. Use the bottom of the top line as your aiming point if you want to hit the tank dead on. Then the German tanks. If you are using any other tank apart from the Tiger, follow the reticle provided. The one labelled PZGR39 is your armour piercing round, and the one labelled PZGR40 is your armour piercing composite rigid round. The reticle is accurate, and this does include the 222, 232 and the Puma. What you need to look out for is the Jagdpanzer. In my testing, at 1500 meters, the range is 200 meters high, so if you're using this tank, aim a little lower if you want to hit a spot on. And now the Tiger. The Tiger with armor piercing shells is accurate up to 2000 meters. However, with APCR there comes a little trick. Every 300 meters you need to deduct 100 meters from your range, so if you're at the range of 1500 meters, you would do this equation. APCR range equals range minus 100 times range over 300, which will give you the value of 1000. Through messing around at the training range, I determined the max effective range for Axis AT weapons is 300 meters, and the max effective range for Allied AT weapons is 250 meters, with the Panzerschreck being able to strike a target with the reticule directly on the target at 250 meters, and the Bazooka being able to hit a target dead on about 200 meters. However, in my advice to all tankers, you should not get within 300 meters of enemy infantry anyway. This is key advice to ensure your deaths are limited and your kills are maximised, along with the amount of time spent attacking rather than going back to repair is also maximised, so usefulness for the team is also maximised. Any light and heavy tank, SPG and scout cars should not be anywhere near the enemy infantry. They should focus on sniping from afar, finding MSPs, destroying FOBs and tanks, and harassing enemy logistics. Medium tanks are the only ones suited to get within 200 meters of enemy infantry. With the combined decent gun, close-in weapon and decent armour, in dire situations they may be used in the role of infantry support. Even so, you should never outstretch your lines. Tanks that are in the midst of the enemy infantry won't last a minute. Ensure that commander knows where friendly infantry is to ensure a sapper or AT doesn't get too close. Battle drills are a set procedure a crew of a tank carries out when met with a task or an obstacle. In this case, I will go over the bare minimum a driver, gunner, bull gunner and commander needs to do to react to contact. First of all, the basics of reacting to contact. All members of the crew need to be aware and searching for enemies at all times. While not in contact, everybody should be looking through their periscope sight and checking all of a 270-degree field of view to ensure nothing sneaks up on you. Let's run through one example. First of all, the commander is searching for enemies. Contact, 8 o'clock. With the word contact and the direction of 8 o'clock, the whole crew knows there's about to be some fighting, and in which direction. 7:45, 5 Shermans still in the open, about 1100 meters. After the initial contact, the commander should then give a more accurate point out for the crew. Driver, give range of the target. The driver gives their estimation. The gunner and ball gunner may give theirs if the spread between the two estimations of the commander and the driver are far apart. I think it's about 900 meters out. Okay, gunner. APCBC, 7:45, range 1000 meters, 5 Shermans, fire at will. With the order from the commander, the gunner will then engage the Shermans at will. Hey guys, I hope you learned something and more importantly enjoyed the video. If you have any other suggestions for post-scriptum guides, it will give me something to do to put my time into rather than doing nothing. I'm starting to stream on and off on Twitch, so if you want to see more post-scriptum gameplay or any other games like Armoured, War Thunder or anything else like that, please make sure to follow me over there. Because right now, I appreciate every viewer. Do leave honest feedback on editing and the quality of the video, as would be appreciated and help me improve. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day.